What on earth is that? It's a Journey into Comics Network production!
Tell me something, my friend. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
Brought to you by the power of the Journey into Comics Network. This is the Journey into Comics podcast, the show that's 100% dedicated to everything nerd. With your hosts, the Podfather, Nate Phillips, the Podmaster, Brandon Stone, and the Journey into Comics Network stepdad, Tyler McLaughlin.
Time to make the chimichangas.
30 seconds.
Hey! Excellent!
Finally.
What did you do?
And here we go.
Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Journey into Comics. This is Journey into Comics 303. I am your host, Nate. Today, joining me once again, welcome back to the podcast, co-founder of the Journey into Comics Network. He is the Podmaster. You guys know him and love him from Game Addicts Podcast and the OGs. He is the masterful Brandon Stone. How's it going, bro?
Thank you for that miraculous intro. It's awesome to be here because guess where I am? I'm here.
You're really
It may not look like that I'm here, but I'm here. The way we have it set up is that way on the video version. We could have easily made this to where we were both in the same shot. But we're like, no, we're going to do this exactly as if nothing had changed.
Well, I think that's important, though, because I'm going to be doing this at times when you might not be on the show, or you and Tyler are going to be doing it when I'm not on the show. So learning how to do it, how to run the Streamlabs and figure out this whole process, I'm grateful that you taught me, first of all, because it was really kind of a process. But once I got everything set up, man, I love how the layout looks. I love how we've got things going now for Journey into Comics. It's a cool transition in this new phase of our show. Yeah,
episode 300 kind of hit, and we actually did it for the first time technically on 299 because we were actually recording stuff for 300. Then we did 299. It was this whole timey-wimey thing and how we ended up doing it. I've been doing stuff like this for a little while on Game Addicts. We debuted it around episode 100. I want to say there's actually on the YouTube channel. It's no one else can see it but me. It was the very first time we ever did video, and it was I believe Tyler was there for that one.
Wow!
And so that's I don't think it's available for anybody else to see. That was just like we didn't have a good camera angle. We didn't have good lighting. I just wanted to see what it would look like.
Sure.
To get started with, because you kind of have to dip your toe in. We got the access with a new laptop that's capable of live streaming. Because first off, that's it. We've had the capability to podcast ever since we started. Everybody who has a cell phone, all you need is one of these to technically be a podcaster. It's really not that demanding.
You immediately made me look for my cell phone, like, oh shit, where is it? Do I have it? It's just in my pocket. Just
Yeah,
it's fine.
No, so
Nothing
like
special.
adding in this other element, a video element. A podcast is mostly an audio, experience. You take it with you on your phone or whatever. Play it in your car and on your headphones when you're on like the transit into work. Whatever. A lot of different people listen to podcasts at different periods and time of their day. Some people enjoy watching and looking at our beautiful faces. I don't know who, but some people do. Other much bigger podcasters do the same exact thing. They have a video element. Some don't bother with it. They just say, you know what, whatever. We're just audio based. I've always been into video stuff, as you know.
Yes.
We've done a lot of different things over the years with the band, with different iterations of stuff, doing YouTube actual video stuff that we tried to do early on in the JIC.
JIC Reacts, bro.
JIC Reacts. We even did the Stan Lee Cup, which actually never made air because we lost footage. I've actually thought about piecing that together and just because I want to use it to learn more with
what you're doing, right?
With what I'm doing, just to mess around with it and release it as like a fun little, wink and nod. Maybe we'll bring Stan Lee Cup back. Of course, now it's a whole different meaning because the dude ended up dying, man. What the hell?
Well, he's dead, and also it's a lot harder to like willingly have food tasting competitions with a large group of people because of coronavirus. Yeah. It's like, well, wear your mask, stand 5 feet apart when we're recording it. We're going to do each individual person responding to their burger in 5-foot sections, and we'll see how it plays out, you know. Remove your mask, please. Okay. Now take a bite of the burger. I think I taste like... Yeah, this is definitely Wendy's. No, you're wrong. It's a fucking Big Mac, you moron.
You know, they had like of course we have to wear masks, and okay, we don't have to wear masks. You should wear masks.
You should wear a mask.
Be considerate. But like, you know how like the onesies have like the little buttoned up butt flaps? If we had like little buttoned up flaps for the mouth,
mouth flaps.
So you're wearing your mask, you just release the flap and then
retrieve the burger.
That would be funny.
Oh, I would be remiss if I say I didn't have a really great time doing that, though. I know we're reminiscing because that's how it always happens with us. But like way back then, man, doing the Stanley Cup was a fun experience that I do hope to someday find a way to replicate or do differently.
You know, a lot of different things came together for that. A lot of different people teamed up. Of course, it was what you and I and Mike and Nick and my wife helped, and
Dick showed up for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
to
Dick was there
for help.
Yeah, no, he was there like, I had a concert that night. Yeah, whatever.
Actually, do you know what I also remember about that? I think he came over to like see if I actually played guitar because you had told him that I played an instrument, like we were in a band together. And he's like, whatever's good and fucking play guitar. And then like we started talking about music, and he was like, oh, this guy's like, he actually knows what he's talking about. Okay, like I'm gonna leave now. I got that show.
Well, like he was also borrowing Nick's bass.
Yes.
So Nick was supposed to bring his bass there, and we all just ended up playing different licks on it.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was awesome. That was an awesome time. But Brando, today, our show is kind of small and focused. We really have one thing, at least off the top of my head, that we're going to be talking about today.
We've been leading up with it for about 2 weeks.
We almost didn't get to do this.
Almost, but we went out to a store and picked it up. Each of us got a copy.
It looks great on camera.
Yeah, Negan Lives. Got my copy right here. We got back home and we both read it, and so we're going to be giving you our hot take with that. But I have a little news story that I found, and again with the internet, you never know if something's really real.
Got to grain that salt.
Okay, yeah, rumor mill, right?
Sure.
Rumor and innuendo, if you will.
Rumortoid arthritis.
And I totally had to use my foot to help me open up that laptop. I didn't want to move.
Rumortoid arthritis.
Rumortoid. Anyways, since last week, one of the big topics was Michael Keaton returning as Batman.
Yes.
And we talked at length about that. Apparently, Ben Affleck is also returning.
Yes.
As Batman. Now, this is, again, Rumor Mill 101. So, has Affleck said anything? No. Has Warner Brothers said anything? No. Has DC leader? No, they never said anything.
But someone within the company has let leak.
Somebody somewhere has told somebody that this is a thing that's happening. So, apparently, and hopefully you guys can hear me all right, this is kind of a, like, not a very good... like boom.
It's the worst mic stand on earth.
And you got it from me. Oh,
well, we only have the other ones. I mean, it was like I have my shitty one that doesn't really work well for me. A shitty one else doesn't work well for you.
So, my battery's running low. That's why I needed my plug.
Fuck.
Yeah, we are going to get through this pretty quick. So, this is on Cosmic Book News, not comic book news. Cosmic Book News.
Okay.
Moving that S around a little bit to avoid plagiarizations.
Tricky bastards.
Ben Affleck is said to be back as Batman again and attached to HBO Max, specifically that branch of the company. Now, back in May, the rumor mill was on service on 4chan, of all places, about Ben Affleck back as Batman, and now the Lightcast and Cultured Nerd YouTube channels claim the same. The new info claims that Ben Affleck has already signed a new contract to return as Batman, and that Affleck will be involved in additional appearances related to the HBO Max and the Snyder Justice League movies.
With an S.
Yes, plural. Ben has indeed signed a new contract, and he is coming back, says Taylor Murphy of the Cultured Nerd. The official announcement is expected to happen at DC Fandom or during JusticeCon. One of the two, we're going to get that announcement, but it's going to happen before September. We're going to get the official announcement, and we're going to get the Snyderverse Batman is going to be returning. Murphy goes on to shoot down the notion that Michael Keaton was brought in as a replacement.
Ooh.
He said apparently that's not it, as well as Pattinson being a replacement in what's being created as a DC multiverse going forward. They're bringing everybody back. This is planned. This is a design because of Zack. This is a plan that they're moving forward with. I mean, I keep saying it's a great time to be a DC fan. Murphy also brings up a good point that the artwork released with the DC Fandom Virtual Convention looks like the DC Multiverse, which is a picture here. You have Hall of Heroes, you have DC Funverse, DC Insiderverse, DC Kidsverse, DC Uverse, and Watchverse. It's all over the place. So, be interesting to see what's on, because those look like different bubbles and different hubs where you can go to that are going to be focused on
certain aspects. The Kids channel, the DCU is probably their streaming service, DC Universe.
So, why Ben Affleck agreed to return as Batman? Again, salt. Right? Bunch of salt.
Rumortoid arthritis.
Rumortoid arthritis here. Regarding as to why he's returning as Batman, it's said that Affleck will once again be in control of his Batman.
Ooh, interesting.
So creatively, he has final say. I can't speak. Interestingly enough.
You got it. You did it.
It is.
Great job.
Had to start over. You know, podcasting for a living, and then of course, when it comes time, you can't speak. Your mouth like I can't.
Got the Cobain, and I don't mean the end of Cobain, just the marbles in his mouth. Part.
Yeah,
weird out. No, I knew it was dark.
So
minds.
apparently, Jeff Johns has been blamed as the reason why Ben Affleck left the role to begin with.
You just spiked me to think of another topic I want to bring
Okay.
up. Continue.
As Johns is said to have caused interference between with Affleck's decisions involving the script. In addition, Zack Snyder brought Affleck on board for his choice to be the DCEU Dark Knight, so he was a Snyder guy. And since Snyder left Justice League, Affleck decided it wasn't worth all the headaches to remain as Batman. Johns is also blamed for screwing over Snyder and the problems with the Justice League proper.
I've actually got further to add to that.
We will see, because there's more. So now that Snyder's back and the Snyder Cut is getting released, Ben Affleck has agreed to return as Batman, also on HBO Max. So it could be other properties that they release through the streaming service. Hint: there was a rumor in the last episode we talked about HBO wanting to do a Joker, Jared Leto Joker versus Batman Affleck to kind of finally have those two meet and actually have a movie that is more centered around that Joker character, which we
didn't get.
So like a lot of people who like have already informed opinions, like I didn't see enough of the character to really form an opinion, unfortunately.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to see the character if it really comes. Oh, it did it to you.
It did.
It die.
Yeah. So we got as far as we could with that.
Well, and there's more to add because you actually just sparked my memory. Something interesting happened this week, too. Did you hear about the allegations that dropped in regards to Justice League?
Mm-mm. Oh, wait. Was it about how Joss Whedon...
Ray Fisher came out, who played Cyborg, and said that Joss was awful on set, was terrible, rude,
not a very nice guy.
He's not a nice guy, not a good guy. Joss said no comment, which I think says enough. Unfortunately, when you no comment or you don't even come out and say, I categorically deny this, no comment hurts you more because I would talk, but it's going to be revealed that I am wrong. So, whatever. But, like, my thing with this whole Joss Whedon thing is it wasn't just him, because Ray Fisher came out and said more. He said it was the enablers, Jeff Johns, which that sucks to hear he's an asshole, and some other guy who was higher up in Warner Brothers that were enabling Joss to treat people as such and let things happen.
Basically, come in and fix our movie. We'll give you whatever you want.
And it doesn't matter how you treat people or the way you get what you need. This is what we're going to do.
I see. That sucks.
It sucks because, Jeff Johns, you look at him and creatively he's really tried to steer DC in a good direction, trying to almost, and I've said before on the show, he's like their Kevin Feige, but to hear he's an asshole, or at least enables assholes in a way that, you know, we've already heard rumors that Joss Whedon had sexual assault allegations a couple years ago, I think it was, and that was, you know, news that never really settled or whatever. He obviously got pulled from the Batgirl project that is probably never going to happen now. We'll see.
Well, it's interesting because I read something just the other day talking about the whole Michael Keaton thing.
Sure.
And the rumor is that he's in negotiation for like a 10-film appearance.
Whoa.
Now, granted, this is also on a website that you don't necessarily like.
We got this covered.
We got this covered.
God damn it.
So, it again,
that
salt that shit.
That Rumortoid Arthritis.
Rumortoid Arthritis, you know, this whole, like, you know, oh, shit, what was her name? Oh, her name's Rodriguez. I was going to call her Michelle Ramirez for rumors.
Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah, or yeah, and like Resident Evil, one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe
one of those.
multiple. I don't
Maybe
remember.
all of them. We don't know.
So, yeah, so for Michael Keaton to potentially do a 10-film appearance, with at least 3 of those with him being a major character role, and the Flashpoint's going to be his first one. Mm-hmm. It's where the movie's not based around him, but he's a major role of it. It's also being said that, and so like now I'm taking like different articles that had news and blending it all into this conversation.
Sure, bring it.
So apparently, it's not even in the script for Thomas Wayne to be in it.
Really?
Like they're doing their own
take on Flashpoint.
Sure. And that what they decided to do, instead of go the Thomas Wayne route, it's going to be the 89 Bruce Wayne character instead. Okay, cool, because that Flash has already met Affleck's Batman, so him meeting somebody else, a
different Batman's like, hey, are you my Bruce? Like,
yeah.
And he's also met another Barry. Yeah. So he now knows the multiverse exists, and it's confirmed. And one thing, I don't know if you know this, but Crisis on Infinite Earths did something very clever. They named the Flash. And what I mean that is Grant Gustin calling himself the Flash makes Ezra Miller's Flash go, oh, catchy name. Like, I probably should use that. And I'm like, oh, that's so smart, because that's so Barry to be like, sure, I'll call myself that. That's fine.
Right.
You know?
I kind of thought of it, or his version of me.
I thought of it.
I thought of it. So, all right. So Michael Keaton coming in on a 10-film thing. Like, they also kind of shoot from the cuff to say that he could play a part in the upcoming Batgirl thing that has been in
on and off
shelved, whatever. But if they decide to go forward with it, they have a central character who can be the backbone of getting this new character in a movie going.
Sure.
The other one that was a huge, like, Metal Gear Solid exclamation point to me was the fact that they name dropped, like, one of the films they had in mind. Again, we don't even know if he's officially back. Let's not start counting these chickens.
Sure.
Batman Beyond.
Man.
In other words, that website decided, like, what is something that every single Batman fan really wants? Michael Keaton, old man Batman, and a young kid playing new Batman for Batman. You know what? Let's make a rumor about that. And if it's, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I got a nerd boner when I saw it.
I just got a thought, too. Continue.
Okay. I thought you were very interested in my nerd boner for a second.
No, I'm not into like, the nerd boner, no.
It's almost like you thought, wait, I get those too sometimes. Is that what that is?
Is that what we call that?
You just kind of had like a eureka moment.
No, I was just thinking that what if the reason we haven't seen the color palette of all of Robert Pattinson's stuff is because it is going to be a more Beyond take. And it's been because what is the odd timing? They are filming now. They are about to continue production. All this news is quote unquote breaking.
Yeah.
Why is that? Would they not consider that? Is that a way to maybe make the Batman, you do Batman Beyond, or maybe not? Maybe they don't even call it Batman Beyond. It's just a different story, and you can still utilize Michael Keaton in some role.
As far as I'm aware, Matt Reeves has already said, like, hey, these are going to be standalone movies.
Okay, so he has his own plan.
He has his own plan. They decided, because, you know, the whole thing was like, hey, Pattinson would be perfect for a McGinnis role, right?
Yeah.
For Batman Beyond. And he goes, we decided that he's our Bruce Wayne. Like, when we read, there was ended up being between Pattinson and some other guy, and I can't remember who the other guy was. Sure. But they weren't sure, and they even did like the outfit tests and everything, and you know, and got him dressed up, and it was Pattinson. He goes, it's him, you know. The whole screening process has got to be nerve-wracking, because you got these two guys, and unfortunately, as I said, I can't remember the other guy, but to make it to out of everybody, the last two, and you're like, all right, what is this guy bringing to the table? What's his version of this character? Because it's one thing for the writer and director to be like, I have this idea, and we're going to do this thing. That actor has to grasp a hold of that. And in a way, he needs to give that director exactly what he wants, but it's a symbiotic relationship. He needs to feel that character, and he needs to find out what part of himself he can elevate,
channel to become that character.
Because for every single actor, that's a piece of it. It's like there's a, even if you're making it up and you haven't felt these feelings before, you have to imagine what those feelings would feel like.
Sure.
And so, like, I just think, when everybody else was like hurling at the thought of Robert Pattinson, I'm like, there's a reason why he was picked.
Yeah.
And I'm so intrigued as to see it and to see it come to fruition and see what that version is. But as we said last week, we live in a great time.
Yeah.
As we said, we could easily become over encumbered. We don't want to get over encumbered and have like, well, we have 7 Batman movies coming out this year, guys. And the fucking Lego Batman.
Will Arnett.
That movie cracks me up every time I see it. Every time I see it, because Wyatt, my oldest kid, he loves it. I catch something new every time. And it's the very beginning of the movie where it's like, black. Every important movie starts with the black screen. Ominous music. Warner Bros. And then it's like, DC, the house that Batman built.
Ooh, I like that AJ Styles reference.
And then it was a quote from a song lyric, and it was Michael Jackson. And at the end of it says, he. And it says, Michael Jackson. No, I totally said that. And it blacks out Michael Jackson's name and puts Batman.
That's the first one?
The first Lego Batman. Well, there's only one Lego Batman.
Oh, yeah.
It's the movie.
Yeah. I think I've seen that.
My gosh.
It's been a time.
There's so many references. So many references. Like when the very beginning, the Joker is naming all of these villains, and they're actual real Batman villains from the past.
Amazing.
Including Condiment Man at the very end. He goes, and the dude goes, I think you're making these up. Nope. Totally real. Probably worth a Google. And like, they're just like, you're supposed to be afraid. He's like, well, Batman's going to stop you. He's not going to stop me this time. Like, when has he ever stopped me? He's like, what about the time with the 2 boats? He goes, this is better than the 2 boats. What about the time with the parade and the Prince music? It's like name dropping all these different Batman movies great. And references. And the movie is very meta. As a Batman fan, I didn't think I would like it whatsoever, and I absolutely love it.
Good.
It is like, the guy that plays Voldemort plays Alfred, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
And Voldemort's in the movie, and he doesn't voice Voldemort.
That's hilarious.
I was just like, really? And then there was this one stoner dude. I can't remember his name. If I saw a picture, it was like Benson.
Doug Benson?
Doug Benson. I want to say he's the guy that plays Bane.
That's hilarious.
And it's like big, beefy Bane, but he sounds like this.
Oh, shit, man.
But I'm very intrigued because I'm so happy to have the rumors of Michael Keaton coming back. I actually liked Ben Affleck Batman. I want to see more of that character.
He was one of the bright spots of those movies was Ben Affleck.
The fact I was actually a little disappointed that the extended version of BVS wasn't on HBO Max, and now it is.
Yeah,
because I actually like that version. Like, not that I didn't like the other version. I think we gave it like a 7.5 or whatever. But I think with that added content, it almost bumps it up to an 8 for me. I really enjoyed that film, even though it's got a lot of issues, a lot of problems. It's still good, and like as just a Batman Superman fan, hell yeah, I'm into this. It's a little goofy, a little silly. Martha, why'd you say Martha? And it's like, well, I mean, someone's like, this is really badly written. I'm like, we had to get there somehow, folks.
Well, listen, it's funny. I said this way back. I've been a DC fan for a long time, and I've never put together that Batman and Superman have the same mom name. like it actually got me.
Why did you say Martha?
I was like, oh shit, that's clever.
But like it's funny because I also said in that same year that we reviewed those, like Civil War has almost the exact moment. Like, wait, he killed my parents? I'm a bad guy now.
I was good, but now I'm angry. And
Now I'm angry. Now we're gonna fight again.
Ugh.
Those movies, they have to work up to tell a story. Both of them.
Sure.
And they have to get there. Sometimes we're all critics and we all think we can do it better. There's a reason why we're sitting here in this room talking about it.
I think we talked about that last week,
Yeah,
right? Where we were talking about how we don't go to NASA and try to do their jobs.
Yeah,
You know?
we didn't go to NASCAR and tell them how to drive cars.
I probably could do that though. I'm just gonna say, like, I'd probably be pretty good at that. And like, I always joke that like, if I was born in North Carolina, I would not have been a podcaster. I wouldn't have been into music. I would have been racing cars. I probably would have been a terrible human because I'm from North Carolina, but I would have been racing cars, and I probably wouldn't have been really good at it. But
You have a really good affinity for what makes good barbecue, though.
oh yeah, like next level.
That is something to do a podcast about. Barbecue, because everywhere has different barbecue. You have Carolina barbecue, you have like Tennessee barbecue.
Oh yeah,
Texas barbecue is completely different. Like everywhere has different barbecue, and it's really cool and really fascinating. Just like to me at least.
now I'm getting hungry all of a sudden again.
Well, like I like watching and seeing what other people do, and then I try to replicate it.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to become a better like chef in the kitchen. To look at somebody else's work and go, "Can I do that?" No, but can I try? Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes right, or it's going to be completely awful.
Sometimes it is awful, and then you got to try again.
Oh yeah.
Never get discouraged.
I
when
remember
I
one
step in the
time,
kitchen.
no one showed me this. I was just like maybe a little enlightened and wasn't thinking in my right headspace. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy some Lambrusco because that's like a really sweet, fancy wine. And I am going to drench my chicken in it. And it turned the chicken literally brain matter gray. It just dyed it this like ugly, disgusting color. It was not good. It was not good. I was like, okay, well, that's one thing you never do. Don't, if you can use wine to cook. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way I used the wine was not how you do it. Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so like when I use my chicken marinade, it's my marinade is like the most basic chicken marinade.
Sure.
It's Italian dressing.
Yum.
And with some sprinkles of my Cajun seasoning.
Double yum.
So it just sits in there. And for chicken, I try not to let it go for longer than 4 hours, because and same thing with the wine too. It's acidic, so it's going to start eating away at the fabric of the meat. Well, while it does tenderize it, makes it more juicy. If you leave it in there overnight, which you can do, I've literally had it where the meat's falling apart.
Not in a good way.
No, it's like
this is soup.
Yeah, well, and it's just like, yeah, this is broken down way too much. So typically, if the meat's thawed, 4 hours, maybe 4 to 6, and no longer, and then I'll take it out and I won't wipe it. I'll just leave it on there, and then I'll top it with some more Cajun seasoning, throw it on the grill, and then actually, what's really good too, because typically, as I was going, typically what you do near the end is that you slather on some sauce.
Oh yeah.
Getting some more of that Italian dressing and putting that on at the end,
ooh,
really good.
That sounds good.
It actually cooks up in a very interesting way, to where it's like you're not having barbecue chicken all the time. It's technically barbecue chicken because you're cooking it on your grill.
Sounds honking
but
great.
It doesn't have any sauce on it.
But it has sauce on it. It's just not the sauce you're expecting.
Yeah, it's good.
Damn, that sounds delicious.
And today on the journey into kitchen,
yeah, foodies watching movies making a comeback here for a time. No, man, talking about nerd stuff, last time we were on, I did make a recommendation. I told people, watch The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
I finished it. It's fucking amazing. I finished it, and it was so good, I went and found downloadable copies of the books so I can compare.
Nice.
And I've already read through book 1, like book 2 and book 3 and book 4. I've only got... Holy shit. Fireworks. 5 and 6 to go. Not fireworks and 6. Shit my pants. Oh my God.
That was out. It's that time of year, folks, in Indiana where...
The best part is there's a live reaction of us reacting to that sound.
Dude, okay, so like there was one day, this is like, getting nostalgic now for game addicts. There was one day where we were setting up, like we had set up and filmed. This is back when we used a camera. And I had to take all those video files and put them and edit them and do all that kind of stuff. But we were sitting there doing the show, and something hit his house.
I remember this. It's on the podcast. You guys took off.
We just get up and leave.
Yep.
We left it in. Because we were like, what is that?
Didn't you guys surmise that it was like a ball that the wind had picked up and like hit the house with or something? We couldn't tell.
Maybe somebody threw it, or we couldn't figure out what it was. It sounded like a car literally hit the bottom of his house.
Damn.
It was loud.
Yeah.
It was loud enough that if you listen into that recording, you hear it. You actually
Whoa.
do hear because we had those old kind of cheap microphones
that picked up everything.
They do mouse fart
yeah.
or a couch fart.
That's a non-existent thing that'll maybe see a blooper reel someday.
Yeah, we were doing a sound check for getting all this stuff set up, and I sat down, and it was like the most perfect fake fart ever. You can't.
Hilarious. You couldn't replicate how fake it
Never.
was. It's perfect. But to briefly jump back to the Umbrella Academy, it's really great. It's not typical of anything you've seen in the superhero realm. The twists are very clever. And honestly, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really give my full judgment. And maybe we'll read through. That didn't get me that time. Fuck you guys. I think that the story they did on Netflix is actually better than the comic.
I think so.
Like, the comic is clever, and it has a lot of good beats, and it has a lot of the heart of what that story is. But there's a lot of stuff that they did that I'm like, it's a little kitschy and a little too cartoony. But so the decisions they make for the Netflix show is like, oh, this is how you drive an audience, because now I'm hooked. I want more.
There's actually a whole, like, I get really meta with how I watch shows.
Sure.
And with the Netflix formula, you have to bring them in and create that need to keep watching.
Yeah.
If you watch any of the docuseries they've had, like Tiger King or The Pharmacist, they give you enough information for that episode's worth, and then at the very end they hit you with something else. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't. Whoa, really? Like like the plot thickens type deal. And so
Carol fucking Baskins.
Carol Baskins. That's the only thing that we've actually agreed on as a species this year.
Is Carol fucking Baskins killed her husband?
Probably, yeah, more than likely.
She did.
I mean, I asked my Magic 8-Ball and said signs point to yes. So.
Oh, that's funny.
But so I've watched two things, two older things.
Sure.
First off, very very quickly, I actually did watch Flashpoint, the animated thing.
Nice. That's good.
It was pretty good. It
Yeah.
was pretty good. I was a bit thrown off a little bit with their depiction of Flash. It's not what I see Flash as. He was like a very also the show was very anime-ish, and I wasn't.
It had an anime feel for sure. Yes.
And I wasn't. I wasn't ready for that. And also, my gosh, the guy from Firefly,
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion plays Green Lantern, and I'm like, Fillion, is that you?
Really?
And then I'm like, there's Steve Blum. Oh, hey, look, there's what's her name. Yeah, I'm like catching all these like voice actors and actresses. No, it was pretty good. The other one I watched, and you're gonna be surprised when I say this, I've never actually sat down and watched the movie, Bad Boys.
Okay. Yeah.
Never watched Bad
Will
Boys.
Smith, Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Great.
Never watched it.
Classic.
Yeah,
97.
I guess so.
It was great.
95.
95. It was back then.
Okay, so I watched it and was nitpicking it because I'm like, these are just a bunch of scenes that they just tethered together and called it a movie. It gets better as the movie goes on. Early on, when they're just going from thing to thing, from like scene to scene, thing to thing, and it was just like, I'm not really feeling this. This is like, it's like they tacked together a bunch of scenes and they're like, be funny, and so they were funny. Granted, they do have good chemistry, and they're funny to watch and be together. The movie does get better before it ends. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just saying, like, I hope the second one's better than this because.
Did you watch it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The reason why I started watching them is because I found the third one on 4K Blu-ray for like $10. So I'm like, I guess we gotta watch
Bad Boys for Life.
I gotta watch the other two to get reference because I've actually I think I've seen more of the second one. Saw it on TV or something.
Sure.
It was never a series that I like went out of my way to watch. But then what I wanted to watch right after watching Bad Boys, Speed.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to watch Speed so bad.
Need that Keanu.
And I'm just like, I wonder if Bad Boys and Speed takes place in the same canonical universe.
That would be crazy.
It's got to, man.
But then does John Wick also take place during Speed times? Because then that's a whole other. And then does Bill and Ted? Because then they're time travelers. So then you got lots of Keanu. Maybe Keanu is the secret to the multiverse.
Maybe he is.
Holy shit.
He's like when you see like a picture of like somebody from like 100 years ago, and you're like, that's Nicolas Cage.
Nope. It's just Keanu in a mask. Impersonating friends. Time traveling through the universe.
Oh man. Yeah, but that's all I've really done. I've been doing a lot of work for the podcast for Rank 'Em All, which we're going to start recording here soon. Been doing a lot of work on that. We did. I finished Last of Us Part 2, and we did our spoiler discussion, which went up last week on Friday.
How big did that go?
Only 2 hours.
Surprised.
Yeah, a little bit. We got everything that we really needed to say out of the way. I mean, I will say that both of my really big and like anticipated games, FF7R Remake and Last of Us Part 2, are both games that made me think a lot. And when you have a property that does that in a game, I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, totally.
I like that. I mean, granted, both of them made me think for different reasons. You know, on one hand, I'm thinking of, oh, what are we going to do this? Kind of, okay, because it wasn't FF7 wasn't the exact same game as the first time around. So then do this, you can do this. So in your head, you're kind of going crazy with like the what ifs. With The Last of Us Part 2, it's like I'm almost analyzing people's emotions and feelings
and decisions
and like their story paths and everything. And it's a dark game, and it will suck the soul out of you.
Was the character trans, by the way?
No, there is one.
Okay, sure.
But the main character that a lot of people were like, she's beefy. She's like, she ends up getting built.
Okay.
Like she got arms. They even mentioned in the game, like, man, she built like an ox, you know.
Yeah.
She'd take your ass out. And so online, a lot of the criticisms were like, she's a man, baby, you know.
Oh God.
Basically, like dogging on the way that she looks, and that's where I thought it came from. No, there's actually a character in the game who is a much younger character and decides that he wants to be a boy.
That's awesome.
But they're also in a cult.
Oh.
So it's a little bit interesting the way that they do it.
Oh.
Not so like that's not very accepted. I'm not going to give away the story aspects of it, but it was very interesting, and I liked the way they did it.
Cool.
I know that there are some people who are saying this game is nothing but a device to give you LGBTQ propaganda, and I think that's a load of bullshit.
Sure.
Just because your main character is not straight
doesn't
or a male
mean a fucking thing.
Doesn't mean that. Why can you not place this? In fact, there was actually one thing I saw somebody.
I mean, who in their right mind thinks Lara Croft was straight?
Oh, come on.
She's got to be at least bi. She's climbing rocks and going crazy. She's built like a fucking ox in her own right.
Yeah. Come on.
Let's be real.
So I saw somebody message Neil Druckmann, who was the writer, or
Sure.
one of the co-writers and then director of Last of Us Part 2. And I'm not sure what language was the other language. I guess it doesn't really matter. But her cousin was really unaccepting of her being a lesbian. And, because she came out to the family, and some were like very supportive, and some weren't. Her cousin was one of the pig-headed ones that was not. And he messaged her out of the blue one day. It's like, hey, just want you to know that I've been playing through The Last of Us 2. And the main character in the game is a lesbian. And at first I just didn't want to see them. I'm like, because I don't want to see this stuff. But then I started seeing how happy they were. And how I was rooting for them to be together in the end. And I just want you to know that, like, I accept you.
Fuck yes.
And, like, and I'm sorry for how I acted. So she was like, thank you so much to Neil. And Neil's like, that's what it's about right there. Getting people to see that we are diverse. Because that's one thing that they talked about in the making of that game. They have a whole, like, people at Naughty Dog who are responsible for, like, trying to make their story more diverse by just not placing white male, cis male over here. You're this character. Is there a way we can represent somebody who isn't always represented?
Yeah.
Whether that be your race or your preference, non-binary, or lack of preference, whatever. Is there a way that we can include these characters in our games, which represent our world, because these people exist in our world? So, why wouldn't you encounter people like we encounter in our own everyday world?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really, I hate to say it like this because I know that the old paradigm of video games wasn't built on this at all. I don't want people to think I'm calling people like calling out for like the wrong thing. But the old way of making video games from an outsider's perspective who knows nothing about the industry and how it kind of came up, and it was a lot of guys who are programmers, so of course they're going to put male-driven stories or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they kind of are Nazi Germany about it without meaning to be. Like, we're going to have white men be the focus. That's what we're doing our stories on. That's what you're going to see in the crowd most of the times, and then you see things like Spider-Man, Miles Morales. You're going to have a Spider-Man character in the game that little kids who are African-American, and actually probably little kids who are just different in general, are going to identify with Miles Morales. He's not your typical Peter Parker story. And that's huge. representation is necessary. We talked about this on our where we kind of went off on toxic fandom and whatnot. But ultimately, I love seeing that The Last of Us is making changes, even if it was just one guy that we're hearing a story about.
Mm-hmm.
If there's 100 more of those guys, the world's a better place.
Exactly.
If that becomes 1,000 more, the world's a better place. So
absolutely, and that's why I feel like it is important for representation. It is important because we live in a world where people are so caught up on their own preconceived prejudices, whether or not that's ingrained in them when they're growing up, whether or not that is just how they mistakenly think.
I hate to say a lot of times I think it is how people are brought up. I really do, and I think that I've even looked at myself and said, I wasn't brought up perfect. I think parents from our generation were not perfect people, and they made lots of mistakes. And my parents have said we did lots of crazy drugs, and like lived that experience. But my dad's also used language that I'm not proud that he's used, that was instilled in me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and I had to uninstill it from my knowledge and vocabulary, and just be like, this is not who I am, and I don't even believe in that word, like, or that the ideology of certain words and how they target to hurt people.
Yeah,
and I just feel it's childish. Like, it's like you know what it is? It's monkeys slinging shit at the fucking windows of the zoo because they feel like, I can't do anything. Everyone's looking at me. What am I going to do? I'm just going to take this and chuck it at you, and that's my best. That's my worst weapon is my shit. And they use this word as like their shit slinger. That sounds really bad, but, like they're slinging it. So, I think it's good for people to evolve and grow, and you have to. You have to. You have to be willing to say, like, I've not always been right. I've not always made the perfect choices. I've led myself down paths that have been.
And I think it's also important for people to allow people to do that, to accept those people who didn't see things a certain way for a long time and are coming around.
Hell
yeah. Please welcome them in, because a lot of us were there at some point, like to some extent or another.
Yeah.
We all thought one way, and then either it was a big deal or it wasn't. We just became better people over time.
You do. And I think that your world experience changes you.
Yes.
And I think, and you know this too, because you come from small town USA. Living in small town USA gives you a very skewed perception of the world.
Yeah.
When you get outside of small town USA and experience the world, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, there's all kinds of people all the time, and they're just like me. They're just trying to live their day and make sure they can put food in their bellies and shit in their toilets when it's all said and done, Like, that's the purpose of life. And, like, fuck if they're feeling it or whatever, but, like, we got to be better. That's just, this is just to wrap up what we were talking about. I think that was on 301 with the Negan Lives initially, but we have to be, as people, better.
Absolutely.
And I think we're trying. I think there are definitely some of us that are trying. And then I don't just, like, mean you and me in the world. I mean, generally, I think there are people who are making strides to make the world come more together in this crazy time where we're so divided.
Yeah.
Even if you see a crazy old lady at Meijer going fucking nuts. So.
Dude, I didn't know what to make of that when you first started.
Okay,
sharing those.
Let's just, because I don't want people to think I'm making fun of the lady.
No,
I am not making fun of her. I just thought that her tirade was hysterical, and I mean, it was hysterical because it went from everything was cool and normal, life was good at the Meijer, standing in line. V goes and looks at some clothes, then she tags me out, and I go look at some clothes because the lines are fucking long, so you're standing in line for a long time, and we're like, this is fucking stupid lines. And then she tagged me out, and I'm looking at stuff, and then I come back, and then she's looking at stuff. And when she's looking at stuff, it's fair game. Everything has happened in this instant where I'm sitting there, I'm minding my business, I'm playing Pokemon Go. I'm literally like this. The cart's in front of me. I'm just like, yeah, just doing my thing. Okay, whatever, fucking. And then I hear, fuck that stupid motherfucker. And I was like, shots fired, me? And I what the first thing I did was? I looked down on my shirt. Did I wear something offensive today? PlayStation. Okay, I'm clear. It's just X circle.
She's an Xbox fan.
She must be an Xbox fan. She's mad. Shit. Well, what I quickly surmise, because then it starts to become the tirade that ends up going on Facebook, is that she must have seen a Trump supporter And I've been guilty of screaming "fuck you" at Trump supporters before, not necessarily in Meyer in that scenario, but she felt that was the time because apparently this guy went by and then she's like, he's the reason the whole fucking world is going mad and fuck this motherfucker and he thinks it's from China, and like she was going ballistic. At first I felt bad, but then she would stop for like 5 minutes and he'd be like, hey, cool, she's let it go. You stupid cocksucker! She would go nuts again. So then I started like, okay, I have to pull my phone out and get some of this because no one's gonna believe me that this lady is just randomly
she kept
going
looking around like she was looking for an audience,
taking her mask down and up.
Yep.
Like, oh man. And then she was screaming about people not wearing masks. She would literally tell people, "Fuck you for not wearing a mask." I heard her yell. I was like, "Whoa!" My favorite thing though, and it's in the final video. There's only 2 videos I posted, even though I took 3. The final video. Her son, or whoever she was with, has paid for all of his items, and he had like a cart full of shit.
Yeah.
She only has the booze they have got that she's gonna pay for. The lady's like, it's $99.47, and she goes, $100 damn, and she's so mad that she's spending $100 on alcohol while she's counting her 20s to pay the cashier.
I heard her say, "Shit adds up."
Shit adds up. Yeah, it does. And then, so then she, pays, and then. She's still kind of like lingering. We're like, do we put our shit on the fucking turnstile? Like, do we start loading our groceries up? Which we did. And she's still kind of standing like off the distance. And she just yells, "Tyrone, did you get my bag?" And she is holding her bags in her hand. And I am dying, trying not to laugh. It was a mixture of comical and sad. Like sad because you go, maybe this lady has mental illness problems or whatever, dementia or whatever, and that's not funny. But she seemed she knew what she was doing. And she saw certain people that pissed her off, and instead of just minding her business, not starting shit, she started going to war with people. And I couldn't not capture the moment, even though it was only a couple short moments of time. So yeah, that was my trip to Meyer, which was a whole lot of fucking fun. It was pretty good. It was better than the last trip to Meyer, because last time we went earlier in the week during this coronavirus bullshit, we load up on groceries, got a ton of shit, too much shit, spent too much money. That's a whole other story, side point. We're standing in line. I'm like, "Veronica, do you hear that?" She's like, "No." I was like, "You don't fucking hear that? Listen." And it's like, just continuous, like, shh. I was like, it's pouring like fuck outside. We're about to have a bad time. And we got out there, and let me tell you, from head to toe, I was 100% drenched because there was no spot to take your groceries. I backed the car up close as I could to the door, and we just started quickly loading it in, but we were not covered by anything whatsoever, so I'm just getting soaked. Lightning's like, "Cacao!" And you're like, "Whoa, motherfucker!" You think you're going to get fucking zapped in the Meyer parking lot and shit.
Cacao!
Like
I like how that was a literal comic book.
Crackoon,
Crackoon.
From Thunder,
Cracow.
It was no shit. I was like, oh my God. So that's been my fun at Meyer recently, but I don't have any more Meyer stories, so we're gonna have to move on from that.
That's
Brando.
okay.
We do have one final topic today. We'd mentioned it earlier, we teased it earlier. Brandon's gonna bring it up yet again. Let's get your opinion, dude. Before I gush on what I thought about Negan Lives, where do you stand in this story?
Unfortunately, I want to know more.
Well, and now Kirkman's done a good job now, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, exactly. What I really liked was the big twist at the very beginning, where he is, he's talking like, so you fucks didn't think I'd be back.
I love that.
It's like, who's he talking to? Of course, it's just the first opening page.
It's also very meta because
Yeah.
Kirkman is saying, "You guys didn't think I'd be back."
Yeah, it's almost like he's talking to the reader, but you're like, who's he talking to? Is he talking to somebody we know? No, it's Flowers.
Yep, it's Flowers.
He's like, does it feel right making you watch as I pluck your friends and family from the earth around you? Feels bad leaving you to wonder when I'm coming back for you. But you're fucking Flowers.
Oh, Negan's as Negan as ever. I love it.
And he even laughs at himself. And then he just ends up getting real somber. And then, of course, one of my favorite lines from the entire book.
Sure.
You guys got anything to say for yourself? It's like he's talking to the Flowers as he's walking. Like, Sounds like these, it upsets me to be so goddamn fucking certain that I'm not going crazy. I'd kill to hear voices right now.
Yeah, for real.
Like he's all alone. And of course he's going to the grave marker that he had marked for Lucille.
Yes.
The Bat. So he's still in the general area of
Alexandria.
So that's interesting to note because it wasn't the one that he had made later. It was the one where he had buried the bat. The broken bat.
Yes. That he broke over Beta. Right?
Yeah. Was it Beta?
I think so.
Or was it another walker?
I thought he broke it over Beta because he was trying to kill Beta and he hit him with it. And I was like,
and
oh, shit, that doesn't work.
It's been a while since I read those.
Man.
But then he kind of has like this like whole diatribe about how he's scared to die.
He doesn't want to admit it, though.
He doesn't want to admit it. And then he admits that he's an atheist and doesn't believe in the afterlife. So he's not going to even get to see her again. And it's like... So now he's like questioning. It's like, well, I can't be sitting here talking like you're watching me because I know you're not watching me because none of that shit's real. And if you were watching me, I'd be pretty embarrassed about the shit I've done. But you're not fucking watching me.
Yeah.
Like, it just what I really like about it is that it's like going through the psyche of like a man truly alone in the world, and like
yes,
what his mindset would be in like within the cycle of that. So, we don't know when exactly this book takes place, but we know it takes place before the time jump and at the end of the entire series.
Correct.
So it's some point in between 174
and 193, but in actually really somewhere between 174 and 192 realistically in the timeline because it's more confined. Negan has been probably alone for, it looks like a good 6 months. He's kind of ragged, but of course this could be a little later in the story. He gets kind of in a situation where you're like, man, you really feel for how alone he is. And you're like, oh, he kind of sowed his own poison. And then I love he returns to his house and he's not alone anymore.
Yeah, someone's waiting there. And it's like this attractive young woman. And he's just like, hi.
Am I hallucinating you?
Yeah.
Like, you're fake?
And her name's Lucy.
Definitely hallucinating.
Irony.
Yeah.
So he's just like, she's like, you got any food? He goes, yeah. Got food. And so then they make some food, which he made some rabbit.
What's rabbit?
It's a rabbit.
He looks kind of angry when he was eating that rabbit, I noted.
He didn't look very happy. It's almost like he's even slightly annoyed that she's there.
Like, I wanted to eat in peace.
But then he lightens up a little bit when it's like about how like she's revealing that she's like, it's crazy how like this world is and how calm she is, or how unafraid she is,
and how quickly things that have been maybe in the old world not normalized have quickly become normalized.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting to touch on that one specific line, because when I read that, my immediate thought, first thing in my head was, man, Kirkman is so cleverly telling us really how he feels about what's happening now too. This is in a way him saying like, the old world that we knew before coronavirus is dead. We leave it behind. We're not going to go back to that. Whatever it was isn't going to be, not for a time. And he's saying like how quickly acclimation, just you become used to the new norm. It just happens. You're just like, well, I can either sit here and cry every single day that the world has changed, or I could live in this world and not be sad that I'm alive. And I think that was a really cool, beautiful way for him to... He's really talking to the audience in this book in a lot of ways, I feel. He's, like, really talking to us, which I love.
That's a really cool, like, way to take... thing to take from that. Like, to where he's being a little bit meta with his commentary.
Yes.
And making it, mean for both our world and the Walking Dead world. And then she starts putting the moves on him.
Red flags immediately.
No, he's like, what the hell? Where are they at? When are they going to attack me? She's like, what? No. He's like, come on, you're way too cute and you're not even dirty. No, not speck on you. You're probably gonna jump me.
I'm double your age.
Yeah, I'm double your age. And the one line here that really made me laugh. It's like, I'm a charming motherfucker, sure, but you start falling for my old ass 2 hours after meeting me. Horse cock sucking shit.
Yep. And Negan's back.
Oh. She goes, you're definitely smarter than you look. He's like, huh? And then these dudes end up attacking him, trying to strangle him. And he's even like, Like, the one dude's like, will you help me with this guy? He's a fucking tank, man. And then Negan says, motherfuckers, does it seem like I give a fuck if I live or die? I'm barely fighting back and you can't get this done? Fuck you. And then so, like, they start having him dig up Lucille.
Which also is they're probably going to put him in the ground there.
Probably.
Yeah. But they don't know what's down there.
No.
Another twist in the story that I loved is Negan having to explain to them what he buried and why. And it's like very serious. He goes back through kind of what we know from Here Comes Negan,
Sure.
what we know from Negan Lives. Lucille was very important to him.
Lucy actually she gets scared because Negan doesn't give a fuck about digging this hole, and the dude's like, we don't want to use our guns, but best not draw attention to oneself, especially after dark. But I will shoot you in that fucking stomach and watch the most painful death imaginable for the next few hours. And Negan says, well, okay, whatever. Suits me. Well, how about now? And he just points the gun to her. She was like, what? And the other dude's like, what the fuck, Dirk? Like, oh, shut up, fuck up, Barry.
I love that you hear him. It's just like ultra backwater motherfucker.
You're just as sick of her as I am, and as I am not digging a hole for this piece of shit, I'm sure it's not going to be smell as rotten ass while I was sitting here for next week. So
they're essentially coming in to take Negan's territory.
Yes.
They're going to come in, Shanghai the house, which,
right.
You know what is interesting to also note, and I was thinking about this just to pull apart the bigger narrative. This moment almost could save Alexandria without anybody knowing it. Because if these people infiltrate what they're doing to Negan, and they're that close to camp,
yeah,
realistically, Negan maybe saves Alexandria from these people.
Yeah.
You know?
But it doesn't really seem like that they're too bright.
No.
Because after Negan, like, explains the whole story about the bat and Lucille, it's like, that's the stupidest shit I ever did here. Ah! And then he gets up getting bit.
Yeah, Horde shows up because they're talking very loud. I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm doing the like the Gomer Pyle, like almost like. In fact, that's almost man. There was this old wrestling manager back in WCW. His name was Colonel Robert Parker, and he was like a Southern landowner. He always kept like fanning himself, like. My boys are gonna tear you up. Yes, they will. Sitting there, he's always like, not like sometimes with his hat or with his.
Apparently having hot flashes.
Yeah, and then Meng was his was his bodyguard.
Love it.
Like, you ain't gonna mess with me with Meng around. Oh, you ain't. You know what his first? Oh, okay. So we were talking about the world and how messed up things were at a certain time and how acceptable things shouldn't have been done even then.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the teams he was tag teaming or the managing was Harlem Heat. And one of their original outfits was them in chains.
I didn't know that, actually. Booker T and Stevie Ray were in
yes,
chains at
they
one
were
point.
in chains.
That's crazy. Of course, Booker T is famously a part of the Hulk Hogan moment, Heard Around the World, which,
yes,
you know,
he is.
Look
he
that
is.
up on YouTube if you
but
haven't
what I'm
seen
saying
it,
is that, like, a southern plantation landowner
with two dudes who have chains.
With two black dudes wearing chains. Yeah. Yeah.
Tacky as fuck.
Southern Wrestling Company. Anyway, yeah, so these guys get attacked by some biters, walkers, runners, stupid heads, whatever they want to call them. And so they're getting attacked, and the dude starts firing his gun. Negan ends up saving Lucy with the shovel.
One of my favorite lines. What are you doing? I'm trying to chop your friend in half with this motherfucking shovel.
So, like, Negan saves the one guy from being eaten alive.
Yeah.
Only so he can shove the shovel into his chest.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, and I quote, "Now you have a fucking shovel in your motherfucking heart, you motherfucker. You stupid motherfucker. You should have let me. You should have shot me while you had the fucking chance. Why don't people just fucking shoot me? Why?
Rick would have solved problems if he would have just shot Negan.
Do I look like you want to give me a chance to retaliate? It's like you feel that shovel pushing through your cocksucking motherfucking heart. You scraping your goddamn fucking fuckity spine. It's your fucking fault. Lucy's like, oh my God.
She's like, the horror.
And he's like, quiet. I'm trying to cut your friend in half with a shovel. This prick was going to kill you, wouldn't he? He's the whole panel of him pushing that fucking shovel. She's like, you are... Well, that didn't work.
He tried and he couldn't do it. He's like, that's the best I got. I guess I'm done now.
And she's like, are you going to kill me? And then he's like, get her out of her grave. Her grave? Yeah, my wife, not the fucking bat. And it's he left her in that hospital room to turn and just be there rotting.
He still regrets it.
And so he wants to go finish it. He wants to go, kill her zombified corpse and, bury her and lay her to rest finally. And the whole last page says, don't you want to see what happens next?
If they don't give us an issue 2, I'm going to find Kirkman and shove every issue of The Walking Dead.
Did you read the whole letter hack thing?
Oh, fuck yeah, I did. Absolutely. That was absolutely brilliant. So I've pretty much kind of dissected the things I loved about the story as I was talking to you about in the different narratives that he talks about. But again, talking directly to his audience. Don't you want to see what happens next? He's not talking to Lucy. I mean, he is. Negan is talking to Lucy.
Yeah, Kirkman.
But Kirkman is talking to us.
Yeah.
And that's, and I said this a couple episodes ago, there's so much of that world that's left that is not touched or not been combed over or could be told, or, stories within that world that aren't The Walking Dead, but Negan Lives instead, I will say I am hopeful that this is more than a one-shot, because nowhere on that book does it say one-shot.
No.
It's an issue 1.
Yep. And it doesn't say the end or to be continued. It just kind of leaves it open. So, maybe one day we'll get it. Now, he did say in his letter hacks, he's like, if you're an eagle-eyed reader, you'll notice that Lucille has a wooden cross grave marker at Negan's house in 174, but in 193 there's a headstone. So like he knew that he'd left the real Lucille's remains in the hospital, and I always liked the idea of Negan going back on this mission to retrieve those remains and put them to rest properly. The beginning of this quest, the book that we just read, he thought would make it an interesting little side story. And then he's like, okay, so here's like a little side story we can send out to kind of help boost the comic shops and bring them back, bring the audience back with everything kind of going on. And it's Negan based. Negan's a character who he kind of left open ended, with a like vague
and book. A name that is gonna sell comics because he's a merchandise driving machine now.
And then he says, "Here we are, Negan Lives. I hope you enjoyed this surprise return to the Walking Dead universe. I can honestly say I don't know if we'll ever actually see what happens next. To me, you see the headstone in 193, and the story was pretty much told, but I'll never say never. But probably never. Probably. P.S. Clementine lives."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So another little... As a little one-shot book, if we never got another one, I think it's kind of cool because it does kind of let your mind roll with that adventure. And, of course, he could also release like a little 6-issue.
Just keep it going. Do like 5 more issues of this book, man. Give us him and Lucy starting the trek to the hospital. Maybe they make it to the hospital. Maybe they've met a couple more people on the way. But maybe while Negan is letting go of one Lucille he has to let go of another, and he loses the other Lucy too, and he has to like really come to terms with his life. That would be like the most, because you've already driven this character to a point where he's had a full arc of the ultimate villain to kind of not even a bad guy. Even when he was doing terrible things like putting a fucking shovel through a guy's chest, you're like, oh well, that's just Negan, like doing his.
The dude did say he was gonna try to kill him, and he was thinking about killing the woman.
Yeah,
you know. So
heat of the moment. I mean, I understand. I get it.
Negan has this place where he could go and just become that guy very easily.
Like Kirkman said, you could just leave it at this moment. And it's a beautiful, hey, bookend. You got a little extra Walking Dead. Enjoy it while you had it. I just hope we're not done.
Yeah.
There's so much hope to me that this reinvigorates him. And one thing I loved, talking about the letter hacks that's at the end of the book, he talks about how this even came about.
Yeah.
And the call of like some of the higher up people that work for Diamond and other companies that release these, how they distribute the comics through the world, you know, we're in dire straits. Like, this could actually kill the comic industry, coronavirus, because creators aren't creating and things are on hold and you can't really get stuff out to your consumer and everything. And he said as soon as that guy started talking about this, all you could hear was Negan's voice. And that, to me, is the itch that Kirkman doesn't want to stop scratching.
Yeah.
That makes me feel we'll get more of this. Maybe it won't be, next month, here's Negan Lives 2. But maybe in 6 months we get another issue. And then
I
6
think that'd
months,
be neat.
another
Give him time.
issue. Yeah.
If he's going to actually work out a story, which it doesn't have to be a massive story, just like you said, just 5 more books, make a 6-book run.
Of course, he'll fuck up and create a super beloved character and then have to do a whole nother spinoff. Like, God damn it, I just can't escape. Michonne's Pet 3 has got his own miniseries.
I just think it'd be hilarious to do an issue of The Walking Dead from a perspective of one walker, and where there's no words for the entire thing, just.
But you would hear other people's words. That'd be funny.
Well, something like
just
that.
Just conversations. You hear like, I told you to get the milk.
I would just, like, this one walker, you'd see it just kind of shambling along, and it's like looking like,
it just keeps walking. Oh, fuck. Man, I love the book, Brando.
I liked it.
I'm going to say, for what it is, and for me being such a big fan of The Walking Dead, it's a 5-star book for me. It's my favorite. It's like one of my favorite characters from that series. In a story I did never expect we would actually get. A little extra, like,
that's what it was.
Panache.
It was a little extra.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
I love it.
And the thing is that, like, you could tell it was good because when you got to the end, you didn't want it to be the end. You're like, oh, shit. Okay, this is it? Oh, man.
Yep.
Okay. No. Like, it's not even really fair for me to rate it, like, because I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed it, and, like, rating a one-shot thing, or what could be a one-shot, like, this would be a really great issue 1 of a new story, of a side story.
Yeah.
Man,
how cool would it be someday, though, to have, like, just a totally future trip, Negan Lives could give us a moment that we kind of would clamor for as fans, because in the comic world, Carl is still alive.
Yeah.
And Carl has kind of been the finale of the story. How cool would it be to get a Negan Lives wrap-up where he runs into Carl, and, like, they have the moment, like, your dad was a great man. Look at me. I'm living proof that your dad was a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
That would fucking, like, I just, even saying it right now, I was like, oh, I gotta.
Well, like, especially if you do that interaction where Negan is much older.
Yeah, almost unrecognizable to Carl at first. And he's like, whoa. And then, like, you could have Carl's daughter be introduced, and that's like a moment that could have some beauty in it, oh, you're beautiful, just like your sister or your dad, or who, obviously in the comics the sister is dead, but in the TV universe, Judith was, a bigger role in Negan's life. So, you could do whatever way. I don't know. There's there's lots of various options and avenues they could take if Negan needs to continue.
Yeah.
The question is, does he? And I want him to, but will he?
Kirkman's going to be Kirkman, man. I feel like it's important for him to work on new stuff.
Yes.
Because he's been doing The Walking Dead, and he did Invincible. But, like, it's important for him to grasp out and to try to tell different stories.
He also did Outcast, which is highly underrated and not talked about at all. Do you know anything about it?
Mm-mm.
It was essentially based on a guy who became possessed by other spirits. And he would have to, like, carry out their final works and their last, unfinished businesses and shit, and like crazy, terrible shit.
It's almost like
transpires.
a darker version of like Quantum Leap.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Quantum Leap was a great show.
It's weird because Outcast was supposed to be a series on Cinemax or something, I think.
It never really
I
came to
don't
be.
know if it ever made. I have no idea.
I just saw where Amazon's going to be making, they announced they're making a Fallout TV series.
That's cool. That's got to be exciting for game fans. Of course, that's interesting because Fallout's more the name. Like, every story is its own unique thing. Every character is character me. I am main character A who survived the Fallout, you know. So
A little bit like each game kind of takes place in a different time perspective. Like 3 takes place in the capital wasteland, so it's Washington D.C. You see a lot of these monuments that are just decrepit.
New Vegas is in Vegas.
Yeah, New Vegas was the new strip, and takes place in not in the United States, in the new California Republic.
Cool.
You know, and then 4 takes place in Boston, so you get like a lot of some of the areas, like historical, like marker shit. So that's kind of cool.
Fallout Chicago. I'm waiting for it.
No, and there's, oh man, and oh shit, and you got like these ghouls who've been like these people who got really badly irradiated that became ghouls. But this is Fallout too. He'd be like, a guy with burnt skin, and he's talking like this. So you sure you want the double deep dish? It's pretty big. Was making these 200 years ago. They couldn't get enough of them. I fattened up that old city, I'm telling you what. It's like, now, man, I'm lucky enough to get enough of the little rats and everything else. Not the same deep dish, but what are you going to do, you know?
He's just a normal guy. He looks menacing. But
the ghouls look like they look like all their skin's been burned off, and they got like, they can't blink, and they got like holes for their nose. So they look like,
and their teeth are exposed probably too.
Maybe a little. Sometimes. Like they're just like, well, no, they have muscle, lips and muscle, but no, they just look like, because you'll come across feral ghouls, and they just attack you. But these guys have been existing for a long time.
Cool.
I can just see some old like Chicago cook dude. He's got his hat on and everything.
No ketchup on this hot dog. Yeah. You can't have ketchup on your hot dog.
Can't have ketchup. I mean, come on. What are you doing here? I'm not. I don't know why I keep going to New York. We're in Chicago.
Just to elongate your A's.
Yeah, elongate your A's.
Not quite Wisconsin.
No, you're not going that far.
Not quite Wisconsin. It's only in the A's that the A's come along. Hey. But no, Brando, man, I don't really know what else to dive onto today in this podcast of podcasts.
You know what? Happy anniversary to Back to the Future. 35 years came out on 4th of July weekend. Of course, we actually got to see that happen in Stranger Things.
I didn't see the 3rd season.
Spoiler alert, they go to the theater and Back to the Future is on.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, while being really drunk.
Cool.
Or maybe really high, I'm not sure which.
Sure.
It could be both. I can't remember why, but Steve and the other girl are like in the bathroom going, so he's going to bang his sister.
It's his mom. It's not his sister at all.
No, his mom. He's going to bang his mom. Yeah, it's like that.
Oh, that's funny.
But they also, so they actually go through a scene where they hide in the theater and they watch part of the movie, so they air like a little bit of a scene.
Cool.
And then like, so the party gets split up and they can't raise whoever. I think it's Dustin that they can't raise. And finally they get a hold of him, and as soon as he hears the like the walkie-talkie, it's the fucking with the music from fucking Back to the Future.
Awesome.
Are you there? Are you really there? And it's playing Back to the Future like original soundtrack stuff. I thought it's amazing. You
know, to touch on Back to the Future just for a second, which is going to not be a second. Sorry, listeners, this is going to become a tangent. So just to throw this out there, have you watched any of the Reunited Aparts that are on YouTube? Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Yes. It's that little like Zoom video.
Josh Gad,
yes.
who was Olaf.
And I did watch the Back to the Future one.
It's really good.
Yes.
But they also did a couple others that were really good. Most importantly, Ghostbusters.
I just saw that.
Oh man, that was the bomb. Makes me really excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife. And one thing that Jason Reitman said, and this is why I kind of even brought this up, was this is an amazing time for all of Hollywood, and I even mean for Marvel, because now you can go back through and really fine-tooth comb a movie that you were prepared to release 6 months ago that you have to sit on and really painstakingly go over every choice after the time that there's no deadline now. I mean, it's not that there's no deadline, but the deadlines have been moved so far that you're just fine-tuning every aspect, which could make, we might have on the other side of coronavirus an explosion of some of the best cinema we've ever had.
Because you get a lot more time to spend on the nuances and effects and everything.
And really,
with how many movies are so effect driven,
Yep.
like the new Wonder Woman and Black Widow that are coming out. Those movies have really big action set pieces, and most of what they're messing with is a green screen and pretend.
And you can fine tune pretend until the all cows come home, because at some point you might reach perfection where it looks real as real life.
Yeah.
We're getting really close to that.
Yeah.
I mean, dangerously. And we've seen it too with them de-aging actors and changing the shapes and weights and sizes of actors for different roles. You don't have to gain weight or lose weight for this role. We'll fucking do it digitally, motherfucker. Don't worry about it. Jack Black, you don't need to lose 50 pounds. We'll just make it look digital. Sucks him in.
He goes, I never have to eat healthy again.
He's so jazzed. Oh, shit. All right. Well, that wasn't a bad tangent. I think we did okay.
I think so.
All right. Is there anything else we want to add before we...
Nothing. I don't think nothing this week is anything else like on my mind scope. So we'll see what happens within the news frame next week. Maybe we'll have some updates on some rumors and whatnot. But I don't think it's going to be next week. Maybe the week after that. TY will be back with us.
Stoked. 305 could be a big one then. That would be fun.
It definitely could be.
Yeah, folks, make sure to check out all the different podcasts on the Journey into Comics Network. Get us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, Spotify, CastBox, TuneIn, and many others. Just search Journey into Comics Network. One feed isn't necessarily all you need, but we do appreciate you checking us out and downloading and subscribing to our feed if you do that. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Journey into Comics. This has been JIC 303.
Like, what we're gonna name it? Like,
well, either Rumortoid Arthritis or
I think it's gotta be. It came back around and hit me all over again. That was good. I forgot about that already.
Yep. This is JIC 303 Rumortoid Arthritis. I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
And as always, Pap.
Pap your heads back, boys, and fill that brains with shit. Pap your caps. See, now we're in Chicago. Pap your caps, kid.
Fill your brains. Well, shit. Later, guys. Oh.